the chamber does ask for fireworks. Um, it's a tourism event, and tourism is on our goals. So I think these things should come down to whether the council wants to spend money on that event. Do you want to have fireworks show? If you do you want to have it with DBI or do you want to do it for the chamber? What's the rate it's going to be? I think those should come down because like I said, some of these requests, but I would like to see the Rotary and other people do things and be able to get funded for it as well.
You heard the conversation is the fact that it wasn't trying to tie the hands to where we can't do anything. It was more or less trying to, you know, how we get strings up here when somebody comes up to that podium.
Well,
It's hard for us to say no. So that's kind of when we came up and said, all right, look, there's agency funding budget of $12,000. Just know when you expend that, it's done. There's no, we've got to adhere to the budget.
well, but I get that, and as somebody who agencies don't like to come up here and beg, all right, and it seems like that's been the case at some point sometimes. Why don't we stop tying these agencies' hands when it comes to being able to fundraise and give them something to sell and promote when they do these events, and they can ask us for less money because they'll be able to raise it. They can do sponsorships. We're tying their hands.
Listen, I brought this up the other night, and I'm gonna say it again. You know, most organizations, sure, they come and ask for money, but you also have to. My thing is, you also have to do something for yourself too.
So you're saying that you think that $9,000 that they asked for last year, that was a total cost of the event? No, they had to raise $4,000 or $5,000 themselves, and then they had to staff it. They have to advertise and they have to do everything else.
My position from the meeting was I wasn't in favor of putting caps on because I thought every funding that comes up here needs to be a business decision. Whether we believe it's worth, you know, if I come up here, Jake's Save the Squirrels initiative. I don't need $2,500. All right, maybe. I don't know anything about saving squirrels. Maybe that's what it costs.
Saving
But I
squirrels.
don't think we should just give out $2,500 and make that the rule.
I
I'm
agree.
not saying that's how it would be if we put a cap on it, but I like the idea of if somebody comes up here with a great idea that's gonna bring a lot of people to town, not tying our hand at $2,500. I'd like
That-
us to just, I think we're all getting a little more seasoned up here, and I think we've all gotten a little more backbone throughout since we started, and I'd like to
That
give
was
us
my,
another chance.
that was my point. My point was we're already in a deficit situation. And then when people come up and ask for a large amount of money like that, and we are already in the red, I didn't want to not promote it, because I like fireworks myself. But my thing was, why dig a hole deeper that's already deep?
Well,
That was my issue.
I agree, and I think that's what it really comes down to, is this council needs to decide what events they want to, or what type of these things they want to support, all right? And if you can't do fireworks, you can't do fireworks.
Well, I think that's
You know?
why Jake's recommendation, and if he needs to put it, I think we'll vote on it as a whole with budget. That we're not approving any particular one for a certain dollar amount in
Right.
this budget. It's, here's $12,000.
That's what we got to work
That's
with.
us up here to decide when it's requested.
Which I will say, your 15,000 that we've had has been historically low, not only just with this council, but previous ones, what they spent. I think we need a reasonable discretionary fund. If we take over the average of the last 6-7 years of what we spent and average it together, maybe that'll work.
Well,
But
see,
I think it's a little low.
Philip can work his numbers, and Jackie. What we truly vote on up here that should come out of discretionary fund, never comes out of discretionary fund. Our discretionary fund isn't over budget that much, because we find it elsewhere. So when you look at those budget line items, it's really not that bad.
I would like to see, every committee or people that come up here and asking for donations or money for the town. I'm not being insensitive, cause I like to support everything. However, I'll use Juneteenth, since, Chastity is here. If we know we're gonna do that next year, it's gonna be this month. So now we need to start, the committee need to get rolling for next year, instead of start asking for a big amount. If we know if the chamber's gonna do fireworks, do it this year, but hey, start doing your thing now, then if you start a year in advance, you won't be coming asking for a big amount. And we can substitute versus giving you a big chunk, and then we can give out more to everybody. Versus saying, let's give it to the parade, Juneteenth, the fireworks, and that's all we're doing.
And I think that,
And
I
we
think
can
that,
do more for everybody,
I think that sounds,
if everybody do their part.
it sounds great, but fireworks are expensive, and we are a military town, and I get it, but
Well, I also heard
Let's put the
a
work
possible,
in, everybody needs to put the
Yeah.
work in, everybody, not just one.
and speaking of
With
everybody, piggybacking off of Ms. Williams, I also heard a possible proposition about working with Crew, because they was gonna do one with Crew Town as well. Why not join the two, work together with the two, and have it at a centralized location, AKA the complex, the high school complex. The whole county can get in on it. The county can share the expenses. This is just for the future, because, you know, we're too close to the situation now to worry about it for this year. But for the future, why not look at it and do it that way and see if we can work with them and again, like she said, start now for next year. Because June is here and July is right around the corner. Before we know it, that'll be here. So we can't try to throw something together. I don't think we'll be able to throw anything together that fast for the
Wow.
fourth for this year, but we can go ahead and start working on next year for the whole county and with the two towns, or include Burkeville too if necessary. 3 towns together at the complex.
I would say that's a great idea, but with it being 2 events, 2 days, it opens us up for some grant funding next year.
I
Well-
will say, all of these agencies submitted request packets to you all.
On
in
time.
March For next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
February, I think, February, didn't
The
it?
only thing that I didn't disagree with, I disagree with, and I told Philip, and I told the finance committee, y'all only giving help $1,300.
I agree, yeah.
To me, I can't see that because of what help does. And I don't know the whole situation is how they come about and get money, but it seems like to me like $1,300 per year is, to me is,
We pay their utility bill monthly, so that's part of that 1,300, and then whatever parking fees the town gets,
right?
it doesn't matter if it's $500, if it's $600, if it's $250, we cut a check straight to them for whatever parking.
Let me ask you a question. You said parking fees. Are we writing them any parking tickets to get any money?
I think not this year, but last year was like $550 that we wrote.
You know,
I think it very, I mean.
I'm not advocating for writing parking tickets. I was just asking.
That was Miller does.
I get pulled because of you.
But I also think there's a lot of great organizations like HELP, and there's organizations, I think that providing money for HELP is more of a community service type thing, and providing money to fireworks is more of a tourism type thing, you know, and so I think they're 2 separate items, and we should distinguish, you know, on the tourism side, what are you wanting to do? And I'm just saying fireworks.
Every individual should come up
Yeah.
here and we go from there.
That's right.
I agree with you, but at the end of the day, there's gotta be some sort of business decision to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to be frank, my vote on funding the fireworks next year is gonna completely depend on how successful they are this year. And that's gonna be, if it's a wonderful show, then my number's gonna go up next year. If it's not, then I'm gonna say we either need to make some changes or not. That's our job, to be stewards to the citizens' money. That's what we're up here to do. I think, I'm all for investing in tourism, but I don't wanna just throw money at it and hope something happens. There needs to be.
It needs to be some kind of return.
accountability. Yeah.
So
Needs to be a return.
so General consensus, it sounds like, is that we're not approving within this budget, giving $5,000 to here, or $10,000 for this one. We're approving that we have $12,000 in agency funding. And then, I think, to be honest, Jake's talking about having a business decision, and
We decide.
August, September, we need to have a meeting till we decide at that point. I mean, is
Yeah.
that what I'm feeling? Is that?
That's what I'm feeling.
That's what I'm feeling.
All right, was there anything
You
else?
still have a discretionary fund on the side for like help,
Yeah.
you know.
But the midnight hour is ticking for the
Thank
budget.
you.
But I think the things like help and community service things should be discretionary fund and not an agency fund. An agency fund should be for like events and festivals and things that promote tourism or whatever, bringing people to town.
Very good points, Mr. Page. I'm ready to move on. Anything else, Mr. Manager? All right, we're ready to go into closed session?
We are after closed session, and you can make the motion now, but we do need a motion to advertise the budget.
Well, I think we should, go ahead, Mr. Nash.
I move that we advertise for a budget with the recommendations that were made this evening with the discussion amongst us. Do you have clear enough process with that?
And then
With-
I'll do
with
the
the
calculation on the
personal
personal
property.
property, and I'll get it out there ready to you.
With the true personal property rate,
Correct.
gotcha.
So, but we
All
don't
the,
have a
all the
figure.
discussion we had tonight.
Knock it out.
Some we made votes, some we didn't.
Do we need to vote on the, I don't think we voted on the 60% change in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
we-
you don't, it'll be in the budget.
Right.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
That makes
fine with that.
Yeah.
Mr. Nash moves to advertise the budget as our discussion and guidance to the manager and to the bookkeeper. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Miller seconds. Is there any other discussion about advertising this budget?
Just going to Jake's thing, it'll be in the budget, be equalized, we vote on it, you know.
But I'll give you a copy of what I come up with, so it's not surprising.
It's gonna be some calculation. It ain't gonna be a 5-second thing. It's gonna take a little.
No, but Ms. Hudson can get it pretty quickly.
All right, I'm gonna ask for a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Page.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 6-0. Do you have a motion for closed session?
And you said this is for personnel.
Personnel,
Yeah,
DBI director position.
So if we could get a motion to go into closed session under Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A, under personnel for the DBI director position for discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific public officers, employees, or employees of any public body.
Is there a motion? Mr. Nash moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Williams, second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. We're in closed session. Tell me when your tape's off.